Today I visited one of the biggest custom apparel shops in Canada. This is Scott, and his parents started the company out of their garage. Thanks to Zach, we got a look at where they are now. Welcome, embroider heads, and enjoy the tour of Hotline Apparel. Their shop is massive. They have a specific area just to hold all of the inventory. Never ever seen so many boxes. I didn't know most of these machines, so I'm gonna let James explain it to us. So what is this machine again?
Minmaki.
Okay.
This is a dye sub printer, basically just laying down ink onto a transfer paper. The paper is actually a carrier to get it over to the Monty. Once that ink hits a certain temperature, it turns that ink into a gas, which then injects itself, transfers it to tackle twill. And this is done all with CMYK.
I haven't gotten into like any of the printing yet because I'm afraid of paint running out because I've always had really bad printers and I'm like,
Don't be afraid. The Minmakis are a beast.
Minmakis, okay.
Yeah. We've never had to replace a print head.
Yeah, and for these machines, can they also be like used for like posters and stickers and stuff like that? Or
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can recreate anything in here in reverse. Go out there and sub it, dye sub it, or heat it up to whatever material you want it to.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
Designs on shirts, you know, like Hawaiian shirts. That's dye sub.
Gotcha.
All this same process.
Yeah, my experience is mainly just embroidery and digitizing. I have not like ventured into anything of this yet. Awesome.
They pick it, we stick it. Feel free to use that as trademark registered by Ricky Bobby.
I don't know who Ricky Bobby is, but moving on.
This is one of 4 facilities that we have packed to the roof with product. Alrighty, so once it comes off the Minmakis, it then goes through the Monty here. So what this is transfer paper on the bottom, tackle twill on top. As it goes through the machine at a certain temperature, the ink is then transferred to the twill.
It's sticking together right now?
Yes.
Okay.
And as it goes through, here, comes out here, separates off the paper, and there's our final product right there.
Okay, so it's kind of sublimating it, right?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
Yep.
That's super bright and like colorful.
It has got some punchy. That took a lot of profiling to get to those colors.
If you hate folding, this next machine might be right for you. So could you explain to us what this is?
So these are just standard hoodies on our K950. Goes on flat. And as it goes through the series of belts and tuckers, comes out the other end already folded.
James trusted me to fold some clothes.
Can't screw it up, so don't even worry. Right down the middle. Perfect.
Awesome.
There you go. You do like say half a dozen.
Wow, this is crazy.
And then edit it, looks like that you're catching that same shirt.
All I could think about is how badly I need these at home. I can't imagine how long it would take for them to do them by hand. Scott, please let me fold my clothes here. Next, we're on to some awesome cutting machines.
So we always weed them in groups of 12.
Is this for embroidery at all?
This is all for embroidery.
All for embroidery?
This is all for embroidery.
Okay, and that's when you put it on the machine and...
You got it. The process is that when those machines do a trace, they'll have a trace of a run stitch. They'll then take this applique and they'll glue this onto the run stitch, and then they'll hit go, and then a zigzag stitch will go around the entire graphic.
How much is a machine like this?
These ones, they're about 150, 200 USD.
This is a camera spotting each dot on the design for accurate cutting. I think it's definitely going to be more than one video. There's like so much that you guys have. I told you. Yeah, it's going to be hard to cover in one thing.
Just a small shop.
I then got an awesome lesson on how to weave these myself, and I gotta be honest, I was not the best at it. Okay.
And then you can just grab it and do it like that.
Grab it like that? How did you do it so fast? I was super nervous to ruin them, but regardless, mission successful. Next, we're on to my favorite part, the embroidery machines, and they have over 130 heads.
You're starting now, so what it's going to do now is it's going to lay down a trace stitch, which is just a basic run stitch. This is where it's going to tell her to place the app.
And you always run everything around 750 for like machines, That's like the sweet
because
spot.
It gives them time to hoop the next set of 6, to unhoop the previous set of 6 and tear the backing off. So right now she's laying down the apps.
Okay.
So now she's going to glue it. So you'll see it being spray glued. There's only one of that color left to go. So she's only running on one head.
It's incredible how this operation is so precise from start to finish. You can tell they took their time to properly organize it all. I'm assuming that's the most important part, making sure that it's perfect within
100%.
the stitch. Yeah.
And this is where that trade secret of all the shrinkages and expansion comes into play. So right now, we are dialed in so that it does not overlap. So the old school way was two layers of twill. Black down and then a white on top of it.
Okay.
Wow. How much time would that take?
And for this, you can do graphics, right? You can do like whatever you want, any colors, any designs on it. Like,
You got it.
So this one's doing it from the outside to the center, you said?
Yes.
Okay. And why is that?
So that if it starts over here and then it goes down to here,
Yeah.
by the time it gets down to here, it will stretch the twill out.
Oh, yeah,
So now
yeah.
it's basically just pinning it down into place.
I couldn't help but ask what this giant TV is all about.
So this is pulse integrated to each machine. It reads out data, gives me piece units per hour, units per shift, the amount of downtime, and most important is the current efficiency rate. I like to run my shop at about anywhere from 45 to 55% efficiency rate.
Okay. This next machine had me so amazed.
So here's the chenille.
Okay. Wow.
So what it's doing now, it's like the old school hook and carpet sort of deal. Needle comes down, comes up, and then it goes back down and creates a loop. Right now it's just the needle's going down, grabbing the yarn, coming up, creating a loop. And each time it lets go of the thread, it spins the head of the needle so the hook can grab the next piece of yarn.
What kind of thread is that? Like just regular, like 40 weight? Ooh. Oh man, these are huge. 60 Tex 58. Okay. Crazy thread. Never seen any. Like
Nothing that big?
No, never.
That's what she said.
Oh, and you guys have it at the bottom.
Yeah, it's all fed from the bottom for the chenille. Well, for the embroidery, you use bobbins, but no bobbins for the chenille.
It's all chenille and embroidery. So that's what it looks like on the back then.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But we've come a long way since this embroidery. Again, nobody has this machine in house, and there's a certain way to get the chenille to go proper. And the loops after the fact.
Yeah.
Now we have it working beautifully.
Chenille is a beautiful craft, and they've perfected it. This next tool takes the whole cake.
Inside this window, so you can get right in there while it's cutting. It's the process of when this thing moves. So it's gonna go down, I'm gonna call it down to the very last head.
This laser cost $500,000. It sounds like the Jetsons. How this amazing laser works is you first embroider onto the material, then it laser cuts it, and all you have to do at the end is pull it off. It's honestly incredible. That's crazy, man.
I'm gonna do a couple here.
Okay.
And then you can weed your own.
You sure?
Of course, you can't screw it up. Okay. So grab it, pull it off.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna go in here, pull out the middle, pull out the middle of that.
Okay.
That's done.
We're gonna get that sexy shot. Kind of mid, but it's okay. One. Oh man, that's so sick. Can I do one more?
You can keep going, do them all.
Okay.
Free labor.
Free labor indeed, but I love it. Okay, that one was more confident now. That's it. Oh man, that's so good. Oh, and they not only have one, but 2 laser heads. Seeing so many machines was incredible. It looks like they have every color you can think of and as many mighty hoops as you can use.
Those are the hoops you like to play with, isn't it?
Yeah, I love them.
Baby ones, baby ones.
That's right. We then moved to another room, but due to the humidity, the camera couldn't stay there too long. This is a Toyota Eagle DTF machine, and I have so much to learn about it. Is that a boy or a girl?
Girl.
Girl, what's your name?
Lily? 10 feet.
What a
the whole process.
This is hands down the best shop in the world.
My dogs, huh?
I got a chance to ask Scott some questions for you guys. What is one piece of advice that you could give to people who are just starting in the embroidery world?
Learn tension and learn how the bobbin works. I'd say like that's everything. Like if those are ever so slightly off, if you don't know how to fix that, like you just can run into a million problems. The first thing is understanding the machine, because like no matter how you digitize, like if the machine's not quite right, like the design's just never gonna come out quite right.
Gotcha. Would you tell shop owners to learn how to digitize themselves or to delegate the work to other people?
To some extent, yes.
Yeah.
You know, I think understanding it makes it better to understand how the machine runs and when issues occur, what can be the solution. I'd say, understanding the basics of digitizing is key.
How did you, like when you first got started with, you know, your family, what was the size of your operation compared to now?
Oh, so when I went full-time, my parents, my sister was off. So she wasn't even part of the company at that point.
Okay.
We had one artist.
Sister?
That's my sister, Jenna.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. This is Ken. Yeah.
Nice to meet you as well.
One warehouse guy,
Yeah.
one artist, then our embroidery factory was run by another lady and they had about 4 staff there. So
Okay.
I'd say there was 8 to 10 and now there's 48 of us.
Oh,
so at this
damn.
moment.
That sounds already pretty big, especially because a lot of people are, it's just themselves starting out.
Yeah.
I'm sure your parents started that way, right? Or-
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was originally in our garage. Yeah. It
That's
started
awesome.
there,
Yeah.
and they didn't do their own embroidery and printing. Well, originally it was just print,
Okay.
and they held the stock in their garage. The UPS guy would come pick up. They would just leave the garage open. He'd come get it, deliver it
damn.
to the factory,
Yeah.
drop it back off, and then ship it out after that.
Okay. Amazing.
I got that design for you. If you did want to do
Oh.
a video, that's what it looks like.
This is a design referring to a tape that he explains later. Then Scott took me to another room, and this is where the digitizers hang out. How are you finding the program? Good. Yeah. I got a chance to talk to them. They were so lovely, and they used Pulse DG16 by Tajima as their digitizing software. They showed us a couple of projects that they were working on, and honestly, it was just so fun to be around. So what are these?
These are dies.
Dies.
Cut out letters.
Okay.
And banners here. That's a a banner underneath the.
Basically
like
a
that.
blade that's
A
formed.
blade, yeah, that then eventually would cut a material. We used to do curtain materials that we would just press and cut letters out of. Something like this for University of Western Ontario or T for University of Toronto. And this was how we did it back in the early 90s, late 80s, to eventually the digital cutting and printing that we do now that you see on the wall.
Wow. And where was this installed?
This would have been done so that we would just had a mechanical press and we would just lay it out, cut one,
okay.
move it over, lay it out, cut one, move it out, lay it over, cut one.
Gotcha.
We'd do a sheet and then we'd get a new sheet and keep doing it over and over again. So this is some of the original tech of embroidery, of how machines used to read an embroidery tape. So this would feed into the embroidery machine, and the first bit is just information. Here it says Tajima 1904-91, so this tape was made in 1991. The stitch count was 4,472 stitches, and eventually once it gets through there, it'll start reading the file that the machine would start to read this and move the head accordingly to be able to create the embroidery, which eventually this tape here would eventually make this file. That's wild, eh?
Yeah. And then when it runs out, you have to...
It'd rewind itself on the other end, and then it would be ready to go next time.
Oh, okay, nice.
So every single time after
Yeah.
you run,
Yeah.
you'd have to reload it, refeed it in again, and restart again.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
This is so old.
Yeah.
It's so old. It's not really applicable anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, but we had to go through that to get to those cutters that are out the back. At its time, that was very innovative.
The evolution of it, eh? That's awesome. That is awesome. Then Zach got a chance to interview Scott, but you guys will get to see that on the RB Digital channel.
Tell me a little bit about Hotline, a little bit about your story.
Well, we've been around since '85, so 38 years now.
So you have a couple Tajimas kicking around.
Yeah.
A bunch of them on that side.
Yeah.
Couple more over here.
Guys, I kid you not, this place had so many machines that even with this video, I could not cover all of them. Zach did a better job at going through everything with Scott and James, so make sure to go follow the channel. I will be working on that video soon. After the tour, we decided to hang around and watch the machines do their work. I want to give a big thanks to Scott and the Hotline Apparel family. You guys are amazing, and it was an honor to get a chance to see what you guys do. You are all incredibly kind and are masters at what you do. Also, big thanks to Zach for making this happen. We need to get you into more videos. And last but not least, Rob from RB Digital, who was the awesome cameraman of the day. Thank you so much, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this awesome tour at Hotline Apparel, and I'll see you on the next one.
These guys are vibing over here. It's great.
Always, got it. I look at it this way with my crew. We spend more time with each other here than we do with our own families. So why not have the workplace be an enjoyable environment, right?
That's awesome.
And they love it here. You can see the smiles on their faces as they come into work. They smile when they come in, they smile when they leave. That's what she said.